All right, we got one more Al Smith dinner segment. Of course, the main event, Donald Trump himself. So should we just play some highlights?
Yeah, Donald Trump, he is at his best when he's off the cuff. So when he was reading from his cue cards, whoever wrote this stuff, it's pretty good material. I don't know who his writer was, but it's pretty funny stuff. I kept in a couple where he went off script, though, because when he's reading off the cue card, like, he doesn't rehearse. He's just, and so also about Mayor Adams. And then as soon as he goes off the cue cards, he comes to life. So it's pretty interesting, but he was good. He had a good night.
I'm Mayor Adams. Good luck with everything. They went after you. They went after you, Mayor. Yeah, boy, I knew that. 9.5 months ago, I said, he just said something about it, about the administration. He's going to be indicted any moment. And guess what happened? But you're going to win. I think you're going to win. I know you're going to win. So good luck. Good luck. I don't like what they do. I don't like what they do. Always it's a rule. You got to go to the dinner. You got to do it. Otherwise, bad things are going to happen to you from up there. You can't do what I just saw on that screen. But my opponent feels like she does not have to be here, which is deeply disrespectful to the event and in particular to our great Catholic community. Very disrespectful. But you do something that's incredible, the Catholic Church, you're helping the poor, educating children, and supporting the vulnerable. But if you really wanted Vice President Harris to accept your invitation, I guess you should have told her the funds were going to bail out the looters and rioters in Minneapolis, and she would have been here, guaranteed she would have been here. Guaranteed. But
okay, so let me set this up a little bit. He really breaks Schumer's balls. And earlier in the monologue, he said, nobody remembers it now. I wrote him his first check. His first check. And Schumer was just mortified. But it seemed like it was true that he wrote him his first check when he was running for the Senate. And
while we're paused here, I mean, if you look at Bloomberg's face, if you look at Schumer's face, I mean, what Gaffigan said is true. These really are the elites, and not everybody in that room was hostile to Trump. In fact, it seemed like a pretty friendly room.
Yes,
but obviously, Bloomberg and Schumer are hostile, and you could see how just annoyed they are, how just in disbelief they are that they still have to deal with this guy. Like, after everything, this guy's still up here. We're still sitting here having to worry about him becoming president again. It's amazing when you think about it.
Well, and this is a classic case of what I've always said about Trump. He is a Rodney Dangerfield snobs versus slobs vehicle.
Right.
And Americans are always going to root for the slob in that scenario.
Right.
And seeing him here at this black tie event spilling the tea on all these people, that is the key of his political success, more than anything else, in my opinion.
I must say I was shocked when I heard that Kamala was skipping the Al Smith dinner. I'd really hoped that she would come because we can't get enough of hearing her beautiful laugh. She laughs like crazy. If Democrats really wanted to have someone not be with us this evening, they would have just sent Joe Biden. You know, he's having second thoughts, you know that, right? He wants to come back. If she does any worse in the polls, they're going to bring him back again, I think. Chuck, he's going to do it. He's the one that got him out. That's the guy. Much more so than Crazy Nancy, I will tell you.
It's good.
Because I know
he's
him.
The one that got him out.
Chuck Schumer
I know him.
is
He
here
did
looking very glum. Doesn't he look glum? He looks glum. But look on the bright side, Chuck, considering how woke your party has become. If Kamala loses, you still have a chance to become the first woman president. There's a group called White Dudes for Harris. Have you seen this? White Dudes for Harris. Anybody know? Are some of you here? White Dudes for Harris? Doesn't sound like it. But I'm not worried about them at all because their wives and their wives' lovers are all voting for me. Every one of those people is voting for me. A major issue in this race is child care, and Kamala has put forward a concept of a plan. A lot of people don't like it. The only piece of advice I would have for her in the event that she wins would be not to let her husband, Doug, anywhere near the nannies. Just keep them away.
I love how he riffs about.
That's a nasty one. That's nasty. I told these idiots that gave me this stuff, that's too tough. Oh, I did. You know, they told me the last time I did this, I was running against Crooked Hillary. Hillary. No, I was running against Crooked Hillary, and I did it. And I thought it was a roast. So I was told it's a roast. And I had the meanest guy you've ever seen write stuff up. And man, was the room angry. Even the Cardinal remembers. I went overboard. Don't you agree, Cardinal? It was like terrible. And I knew I was in trouble around midway through because, you know, people are not, even my own side was angry at me. They were saying it's too much. But I did it anyway. I didn't give it. Tradition holds that I'm supposed to tell a few self-deprecating jokes this evening. So here it goes. Nope. I've got nothing. I've got nothing. There's nothing to say. I guess I just don't see the point of taking shots at myself when other people have been shooting at me for a hell of a long time, and they shoot hard. But unfortunately, Governor Walz isn't here himself, but don't worry, he'll say that he was. He's going to say he was.
That's a good joke. That's a good wholesome joke.
I used to think the Democrats were crazy for saying that men have periods.
Here it comes.
But then I met Tim Walz. We have another former New York City mayor with us, frankly, easily the worst in our history. And it's not Michael, that I can tell you. I'm surprised that Bill de Blasio was actually able to make it tonight, to be honest. He was a terrible mayor. I don't give a shit if this is comedy or not. He was a terrible mayor. He did a horrible job. That's not comedy, by the way, that's fact. But unlike the rest of New York, at least Bill doesn't have to worry about the criminals. They owe him big. He let them get away with a lot of stuff. Well, I'd better wrap up because Mayor Adams told me earlier that I needed to make this one very quick, especially the city has reserved this room for a large group of illegal aliens coming in from Texas. That's right, they've reserved many rooms, a lot of rooms, too many rooms.
I like how de Blasio gets the serious ire. All right, everybody else he fucks with, you know, Bloomberg, Schumer, you know, but no, de Blasio, that's not comedy, that's fact.
Yeah, so he had a good night. That's Trump at his best.
Oh, yeah.
He was definitely on his game. And this is really what people who adore about him, because you're in a moment where you got these, black tie dinner mummies completely dominating our economy, dominating our culture, where opportunity to achieve the quote unquote American dream is virtually gone. And we've been very clear on this. We don't think Trump's going to do anything about that. Trump was pre-pandemic. Now, would inflation, a lot of what people are experiencing right now, look, this is a decades-long assault on the working class of the country. It didn't start with Joe Biden, didn't start with Bill Clinton, it didn't start with Barack Obama. It started really with Ronald Reagan. I mean, in earnest, where we are right now. No single president can be blamed for it. Would inflation have been better post-pandemic if Trump had a second term? We don't know that. We don't know that. That's impossible to know. That's very presidential policies have a very limited impact on the economy. Maybe it would have. I'm not saying no, but you can't say yes. That's really an unknowable thing. Did Biden's policies make it worse? Who knows? With economists, you ask 10 different economists, they'll give you 10 different explanations. The bottom line is everything costs a lot more now than they did when Trump was president.
Right.
And wages have not in any way kept up with it. So, of course, objectively, working people, for the most part, were better off under Donald Trump for whatever reason. Doesn't matter what the reason is. They know that when they go to the grocery store now, they're paying double what they were paying when Trump was president. And because of that, they feel, well, you bring him back, you're going to bring that back. Now, of course, you think Donald Trump's going to get elected and the prices are going to go back. They're not.
No.
If you think Donald Trump's going to get elected and your wages are going to go up to compensate, they're not. But having this guy go in these rooms and throw these bombs at these hated elites, you can't, even in a post-Trump world, even with the precedent he set, there is no one like him on the political scene, even from MAGA world. I can't imagine anyone else in the Al Smith dinner handling themselves that way. It is really that Rodney Dangerfield. You drop him into Caddyshack. You drop him in with the blue bloods and the stuff. Hey, how you doing? You know, oh, my wife's got a Klimt too, but she doesn't show it around to everybody. You know? It's that Americans love that story. They love that character. They love that type. They always have, man. You can go back to the 19th century. The first plays that were American plays tended to be about the simple American with his simple clothes versus the sophisticates from the city, the people chasing European fashions and styles. We've always loved types like that, even though Trump is a billionaire. And today, the way the American political system is set up, you'd almost have to be running for president. That's part of the irony. But here, because he came from this rough and tumble world of New York real estate, because he had a father who made him go do rent collections, he has the common touch. And it is very rare in modern politics. Look at that McDonald's thing. How many politicians who are active today could you think of who could pull that off? Who could pull that off without it seeming cringe? Without being like,
exactly,
it's so obvious they don't belong there. They feel awkward there. They're not. This is it. This is Donald Trump at his best. This is, you said it very well. When he got elected, people thought he was a good businessman and a bad politician. It's actually the opposite. He's a very good politician, not a very good businessman if you look at the record.
Yeah, and I think, you know, he plays like he is a fish out of water in Washington, D.C., and he kind of makes that bull in a china shop vibe work for him at these black tie functions, right? Because he does the Rodney Dangerfield thing. He goes in there and he is the slob who's infiltrated the snob event, right? And is just going to be a big turd in the punch bowl. And, you know, when you play that, when you commit to a role, you make it work, and he does. And yeah, worked very well. His
exchanges with Schumer were priceless.
Yeah.
He looks so glum.
He looks so glum. He gives him a little, roughs him up on the shoulder. Just the physicality of it too. This big guy.
It was like classic 1930s madcap comedy shit.
Exactly.
It really was. Yeah. And with Bloomberg fuming in the front there.
Yeah, in the foreground. Bloomberg just not loving it at all. Yeah, exactly.
Please clap.